Hello and welcome, everyone. Today we're discussing in the after church tea time. The journey continues, living life as in harmonious union. And today I'm joined here with Paco, who's in harmonious union with his twin flame, and Daniel and Carmen, who are married and in harmonious union. So what an honor to be here with you all today. And I'd love to hear some insights about what you loved about today's sermon. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, I really want to focus on the purpose part, right? Because that has been super important in our union to achieving harmonious twin flame union. And it's important to talk about this because I think a lot of people in the twin flame journey just see this thing very like linear, right? Like you just want to go from separation to union or relationship with this person, and that's basically it, right? Like you just spend time together and cuddle, and uh, that's it, right? Like people, I think sometimes they see this as just like this ultra high relationship that will leave you, which is right, but it's not the purpose to have a great relationship, but to ascend and heal all these areas of your life. So when I was in separation, it's not really like separation what we go through. It's more like a preparation, right? Because we are on learning a lot of things about relationships, especially when it comes to inflame uh, dynamic. And we're also preparing like the foundation or laying the foundation for where we are, for when we are in harmonious union, which is also purpose work. When I was working on that or before being in Timber Union, the only thing I focused over the years was living my life purpose. I was just working on healing my finances. I could become a coach. Uh, and that was basically it, right? Like I had some jobs that I didn't like, but that taught me a lot of things. I learned a lot of lessons, helped me with my finances. But overall, my main goal was to become a coach. And when we came into union and we started living together, that became very crucial for us because when you are with your twin flame, it comes with a lot of energy, as Jason and Chrissy were saying, right? And also Jeff and Shaleia teach this in the classes. So what are you going to do with all that energy? Like it's not just about kissing and hugging each other all the time. Like what are you going to do with this relationship, with this love that you have? And so when you don't have really like a purpose or you are not working towards living your life purpose, all that energy gets wasted. And instead of creating more love and more joy, it actually like rottens and starts creating a lot of blocks. And that's how you can lose this union if you don't use that energy properly. And that was happening to us prior to becoming Ascension coaches. We had a lot of energy that was going nowhere, and we were getting upset about even small things that no one cares. Like, I don't know, maybe even just like talking was making us upset, right? And that's when actually Chrissy asked us, "Are you doing any purpose work?" And we were like, "Well, not really. We're waiting to becoming ascension coaches so we can start working on all these things." And Chrissy told us, "Well, no, don't wait for that. Start like banking content, start creating stuff, like get ideas." And the moment we started to do that, actually all these upsets and blocks that we were having that we thought we needed to heal dissolved because there was not really something to heal, but something to invest all this energy so it can grow and expand. And yeah, like it's very important, right? Like you want to, as Jason and Chrissy mentioned, have like these foundational pieces together, the relationship with the teachings, with Guru, with your life purpose, and with service, right? Because you don't need them all ready, but you need to have some part of it or be working on some of it because this is what also helps you keep the vibration of union high, right? It's not really something that everyone achieves on their own, but we are all a collective. So there are places where we are not so aware or we are still healing, but others have mastered. So aligning with that helps us maintain the union vibration towards harmonious union. And once you get into harmonious union, you just keep doing the same thing, right? Doesn't change, it just evolves. As you eventually as a chocolate carry water. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Paco, would you like to share something? Love to hear from you.
I wanted to say, Deborah and me, we are always hugging and kissing. No, we are also focused on our mostly every day we are hugging and kissing. There are days where we are not hugging and kissing, but like Jason and Christy shared, and like Daniel shared now, it's not the only purpose of being together with your twin flame is having this great relationship. Even it's a great relationship when you are properly supported with the teachings of union, where you have twin flame ascension school class and life purpose class. Then your harmonious twin flame union can be wonderful as you know how to work through uncomfortable situations like Jason shared too, what I really like, that you cannot hide anything under the rock. Or you can, but it will feel not good and you will burn your energy. You will burn all this love you have in your union. And when you are not talking about purpose work, like they shared, this is the biggest, most important piece in their life. Or this is the sweetest thing they live together, their purpose, life purpose. When you hide that under a rock because you just want the twin flame to have this great romance, then you burn this energy you have, this divine love you have with your twin flame, and it will not feel really good and not really comfortable. At some point, you get annoyed with your twin flame, and this is also not fun. So it's better to see the truth about the connection with your twin flame, to really get clear what would I like to do with my life? Because what is life about when you have a wonderful partner and nothing else? What do you do with your life? You would like to express yourself. You would like to express the unique soul you have in the way that feels good to you. That is your life purpose work. You don't need to work from the moment you open up your eyes, and that's how you serve God. Now, life purpose work, living your life purpose feels so juicy. That is why Chrissy shared she's doing it since she's a child. It feels really good to be in service to God, and it gives to you. It fulfills your life, and in harmonious union, it is just such an important piece because it allows your harmonious union to express. And this is why it's so important part of your harmonious union. And what was most important for me from this sermon was that it is very important to have uncomfortable conversations like you have to have in relationships, also with your twin flame. You have to talk about money, you have to talk about health, you have to talk about things your twin flame does you don't like, even you know it will upset your twin flame, but you have to talk about that. And the cool thing is, in this community, in the Church of Union, you have a safe space where a whole community is holding space for you. Kind of when you go through something, even you are not telling everyone, oh, how we are going through in our union now. Well, we are having this challenge. Um, there is an unspoken energy always with you when you're in harmonious union, and with your gurus. They are always here to support you when you open up your heart, and even you speak about uncomfortable things in your relationship with your twin flame. It's very important to do that, and it's very healing. And being in harmonious union is exactly like the share. We never fight it so much since we are in harmonious union, because there is places where there is no love come faster to the surface, and feel also more uncomfortable the longer we try to not look at them. And so there can become this conflict energy between us, because uh, through the both of us is we kind of, God tries to point us to this place in our consciousness where we need healing and love. And that's why I feel this is very important to speak about things you maybe in the past did not spoke about because you never learned it, but here you can learn that. And with the teachings of union, you really are best prepared for talking about such things.
Wow, that was incredible. Yeah, I love how life purpose, I love for me, I'm starting to dive more into my own life purpose, and I'm noticing that I'm having more energy. But I had to significantly heal the fear around my life purpose and being authentic and being seen. I'm still working through those things, of course, um, but for me, I notice I've really been trying to get off caffeine. And I'm noticing I'm able to give up one of my caffeine drinks during the day. So that's great. So my energy is picking up. I notice I'm not like, I don't feel as drained. I'm not crashing like I used to. Um, so that's something I'm noticing. And what I loved that you said is that you're closer to your gurus. Like I feel that's happening, and I'm feeling more love in general. Like it's very reassuring. Um, and yeah, and something that they said too that really I'd love to hear your perspectives on, because I'm still healing my union itself. But they were talking about how once you heal something at the core, it's like the upset just it's gone, which I find so encouraging because I've had a lot of like just very karmic relationships where I'm literally eventually just talking at a wall trying to communicate, but it just never, yeah. So I'd love to hear your perspectives from you guys in Harmonious Union. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
share. I can share about that. The beginning, we spoke a lot. The topic came a lot to the surface, where I was healing still about my true essence, being divine masculine in a feminine body, and Deborah I was quite triggered by it, and we really focused on healing that. This was the most uncomfortable feeling thing at that time, and there came this point. It was not any topic anymore. It was just um, I kept loving myself. I learned to love myself unconditionally, to really accept myself unconditionally, and it was not a problem in our union anymore. She felt not triggered about it anymore. And I grew in my self-love with going through this experience in loving myself unconditionally. Doesn't matter who if I'm a transgender or not, it's just not important. It's just about the unconditional love. This was a topic that was quite intense at the beginning when we came together into union. And before we came into Harmonious Union, we had also, how was, um, this intimate blocks came to the surface, kind of going deeper in intimacy with God and with each other came to the surface, where we had a lot of fights, where we did not feel seen by each other, where we felt like the other one doesn't really care about the other, and it's we are not really important in the union itself. And after we healed through that, we we had more trust in each other. Like Jason and Chrissy also shared that when you're consistent and when you persist through the really uncomfortable, even in a union, then you build trust with yourself, because I persist through whatever is in front of me, and also with your twin flame. This is then like they are best friends. This is like, your best friend is there, even you are upset with your best friend right now, and you have to feel your feelings and move through whatever your twin flame is triggering within yourself. But your best friend will be there and even support you in this process. And yeah, this after we heal through that, it really was not a trigger point, I can say, more as we find this strong foundation in our friendship that no matter what, we will support each other and we are there for each other as we are there for ourselves in whatever we have to work through. Yeah. Yeah, so we experience them over and over again. There come then another topic. Right now, we hear a lot about finances, feeling worthy, and really claim our worth. And this is the topic we are mostly focused on right now, also in our life purpose. And of course, it comes up more often. But we, as we experience the cycle already before, as we really persist through it, Jason and Chrissy shared, then this will also resolve and it does not come up then again. Then you enjoy your life in the union and the harmonious union again, and then you are introduced by your life by itself with the next one.
Yeah. Do you feel, Paco, do you feel like your experience being transgender, like that led you deeper into your healing kind of faster because it's like you couldn't ignore it? Or what was that experience
Exactly.
for you?
Yeah. When I, this is exactly how I experienced it. When I fell through my fear of showing up for myself and showing the world my true self, I then was honest with myself and I was able to let go of this fear of being myself and showing the world myself. It was there and I could not ignore it anymore because it was here. And so the only thing I did was loving myself and learning to accept myself unconditionally. This, it was right into my face, so I could not do anything else than heal all my blocks about it because at the beginning of my transition I did not really look like a man, so I had a lot of triggers the whole time just when I stepped out of my door, and I healed through it and I kept going and I loved myself and I learned to respect myself and I learned to have compassion for myself, and so I could expand compassion to others. And exactly, I was so focused on just healing that. In truth, that was, I'm thankful for that experience, to be honest. I'm thankful being who I am. I'm thankful that I am transgender, and I'm thankful that I am, as a transgender, be in this community where I learned that I am a loved child of God. Doesn't matter if I'm transgender or a man in a man's body. That just doesn't matter. I am loved anyways.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Paco. Yeah, I was always in the artist world and artist community, and that's something that I loved is they were just so loving and accepting of everyone. That's always been a really core value of mine. So thank you for sharing. I know that's, yeah, thanks so much. Yeah. Daniel and Carmen, do you have something you'd like to share? We'd love to hear your experience with that.
Sure. Um, I think for us, healing harmonious union, for those who don't know what is harmonious union, is basically living a life as one, right? Like you are one in your finances, in your health, in your union, in your purpose. This doesn't mean you have everything handled or it's in its perfect form. You are just making the choice to move forward together in the same direction, right? And for us, I think what has been something that we have worked a lot on has been our cultural differences and not
Neurodivergence.
yeah, and also not like working singly on our own. Like we are both very used to not rely on other people. So whenever we feel like something is not getting done, we immediately take over it, and then the other person, like the other one, gets like upset because it's like we are like, well, I was supposed to do that. Why are you doing it, right? So we have worked a lot on that, and and also like our cultural differences. Me being from Mexico, she being German, there are things that I take for granted that it's not in the German culture, and things that she expects from me that are not in the Mexican culture. So balancing that has been a lot of the communication we have been healing, not really like about talking to each other or sharing our feelings, but like communication in how we live together. And the more we have been going deeper into that, the better it gets. Like just recently, in our purpose and coaching business, we just recently had some um, offset. I don't remember exactly what it was, but once we moved through it, we were actually like, we want the same thing. We were just thinking about it in different forms or ways. And when we got clear what we wanted, we actually like moved in that direction, right? So I think that's the beauty with your twin flame, right? Like uh, as Jeff and Shaleia say in the book and in the classes, opposites are just a miscommunication. And being in union and in harmonious union only means that you have just mastered your inner work to a level that you can now have your twin flame close to you, so you can now both work together on the same goals that you have.
That's true. I feel also a big component is what Jason and Chrissy also shared in the sermon today is really never giving up, no matter how rough it gets. Not in union, and also not when you are on your own, when you don't see your twin flame mirroring everything to you, like the love you give to yourself yet, and you just don't give up. And for us, like I feel with all this immigration process, we really learn to be like, okay, like Chrissy used to tell us, like, you have $1 million suitcase here, like your twin flame is the $1 million suitcase, don't leave it. Right? Like, don't be like, okay, Daniel goes alone to Mexico and I stay here for safety reasons. So I have like can maintain my job, but we still have financial security and stuff like that. It's really like, no, we put God at the center. We could put our union at the center. Like, this is what truly matters. This comes first. God comes first. And then we figure everything out from here. But we're not gonna separate. I'm not gonna separate from God, and it would not feel good. Right, like really stand with God and put him at the center always. And this is really like where we were like, okay, this is where our safety is. This is where our support comes from, only from God. And I feel really with this, you're perfectly set up, like to really never give up. And I mean, it does feel different. And now when we have fights, of course, it still gets uncomfortable and all of that, but there is not this fear anymore of like, oh my God, now this is the fight that's blowing us up. Now this is it. Like this is the end. Like from here on, I'm not sure if we can ever go back like this. We had fights like that where we were like literally,
Yeah.
it looked really, really tough. But now when we fight, it's like it's okay to go in your corner, and if you have to figure it out for yourself first, right? It's okay to take space, but you always come back. And I love that we can talk about this as well. It's a normal relationship where you sit together after you move through your upset and you both discuss and see like, hey, what can we do better next time? What caused this? How can we support each other better? What actually needs to change so we do feel better here? And you see that you always come to see that you're a team and you're never against each other. And I really love that a lot.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people move through, at least I have moved through that, is all this relationship trauma, right? When something gets very difficult and you just give up because you know the other person won't really follow you. So you, I don't know, just be like, okay, things are not working. Thanks for being with me. Let's just part ways and, I'll recover one day, right? But with your twin flame, it's not like that. Like I feel a lot of people project that on their twin flame, and that's why it feels so hard. They expect their twin flame to give up when they are going through something hard, right? And then they are just like, this person is not my twin flame, right? Because I'm choosing this. But what I have experienced is that as long as you choose to stay together and heal, like your twin flame will make the same choice, right? Like I remember in my previous relationships, just, getting on a date to the movies or whatever took me a lot of effort and I was not very successful at it. And with Carmen in the immigration process, the immigration office asked me like, hey, you need to go back to Mexico. And Carmen, she was scared of what was going to happen and how it was going to turn out. But she was like, let's go together. Like, I'm ready. if I need to leave my job, I will leave it. And, if we stay in Mexico and we live under a bridge, well, let's just do it. We'll find a way out, right? So that's like the big difference with your twin flame. Like we are all so used to soulmates that we think our twin flame will be the same, but it's not like that. Like as I said, like asking for a date in my previous relationship was like 1, 2 months of effort, energy in there. And with Carmen, it was just like, what do we do? Let's go together. Okay, right? Like you're being with your twin flame, it's not easy. I think it's just the misunderstanding that they are hard to get, but it's actually so easy to have someone around who's like, I don't know, let's stay together and we'll figure the next thing as we move into that, right? And yeah.
It does get better though. It always does get better. You get more mastered, you get quicker at it, and you build trust, right? What we've been also sharing today. You really build trust with yourself, trust with the teachings, trust in your twin flame, knowing like when I can trust myself to always do the healing, no matter what, never deviate from it, I can trust that. You really build that trust. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does get better. And even like you look back and you're just like, it was not really that big of a deal. Like at the beginning, we were fighting so much. I remember my first week in Germany.
Oh,
I'm from Mexico, right? So I'm used to Mexican dishes. They are very like big and like they make you full instantly. And when I came back and I came here to Germany, Carmen only had bread and cheese in her fridge. And it was just
fortified dish, okay?
yeah, and Carmen just had bread and cheese. And I was just like, what are you eating every day? And she was like, bread and cheese. And I was just like, what? Where do you have like meat and chicken and this and that? Like, we cannot cook or eat anything with this. And I was so upset. And then I went to the store and bought the groceries, right? And later, as I healed through that and moved through those upsets, I learned that it's also a German thing, right? To have cheese and bread is like their culture, and it's kind of like the same in Mexico. Every kitchen has tortillas. So then I learned like, okay, it's not that she doesn't want to eat; it's just like the culture, and then we just mix both, right? Like it's how it works. Sometimes you first receive the challenge and then you receive like the gift and be like, oh, it's actually not that bad. It's just how it works.
Actually, there's one more thing I wanted to share with all of this is like, isn't it funny that something we noticed is like when you're upset, you're never upset at your twin flame, actually. Like when you really go deep and really look at the root cause, it's like they don't hurt you. Like there's not a new wound that's coming up. It's something from your childhood mostly, even from a past life, but all of that is like something you experience in this current life. And so whenever I was so upset at Daniel that I could have like torn the walls apart, right? Sometimes I did. I realized I was really upset at my parents or something that happened in my childhood. And when I really touched that point and took it away from Daniel, it was really like, okay, what's really the point here? What's really upsetting me? And who? I always was able to find like, okay, it's from my childhood, something that my parents did or not did for me. And once I healed it, was like, actually, I'm so grateful you brought this up, but you were really like, you're not the cause of it, like never. And yeah, that's really nice to know. But it's what you shared already, like all upsets are just like basically at the core an upset with God, where you put your parents as God or, whatever. But yeah, that's
Yeah, I love that. I feel like, I've always heard, put God first in your life, since I was a little girl. I never knew what that really meant. And I'm still learning, but what I'm realizing is that like loving myself and loving myself the way God loves me is really putting like God first and at the heart of my life. And I also feel like a lot I had a really really tough childhood, and so I notice even my upsets in my union, I've done the same thing where I project on my union, but it's really like my parents or other relationships where I was hurt. So it like my twin flame was just like reflecting those wounds to me. So I always try to like lean back into the teachings when I'm feeling upset with my twin flame and bring love to those places. And it's taken a while because I process a little slowly, and family is a core value of mine, so I had a really hard time accepting what I was experiencing in my family dynamics. But like the real gift in that is that they all were just pointing me to love myself and so my upsets with God were usually upsets with my family, where I made my family my source. Because, as a child, if you're not taught to lean on God and to love God, my family was very agnostic. And then my father was very like he loved God, but he was an alcoholic, and there was just a lot of disconnect between the suffering that he experienced and it was just a lot of disconnect. And so I was very confused as a child about that. And so, at least for me, so I loved what you said about that, Carmen, about how, you know, the upsets that we experience are really not in our union or with God, it's with our upbringing. But like the wound is where the light gets in, right? Like Rumi says, like the love that you can heal into it is like God is always there. And so yeah, yeah, so so anyway, I'm learning to lean into that more and more, instead of projecting and yeah. So yeah, did you guys have anything else you wanted to share? This is so enlightening to hear your experience, being in Harmonious Union as well. Yeah, thank you.
When I was listening to you now and you were saying that you saw always your um, physical family as your source, my twin flame Deborah has that too. She's working through it diligently. And at the beginning, I did not understand that why she's always speaking about her family. She is now in her late 30s and she's speaking about the family. And then she's speaking about the family again. And she's again upset with her family. But it happened like this. As a little girl, she was putting them before God. And this was her source for safety, for love, for everything. And of course, she was mirroring me something with that too. And I put before God control. I control everything. Like as a transgender, you control yourself to be loved. So I controlled every area of my life to feel safe, to feel loved, or whatever. With my control, I handle my life. And this was how I approached life, how I approached relationships. And so we healed through it together as a team, also in Harmonious Union. Then it became just intrusive a little bit faster, so you have to do intrusive more work anyway in Harmonious Union, but you like doing it because you come into Harmonious Union with support and you learn what to do when these things come up, and you learn to support yourself with watching Twin Flame Ascension School, Life Purpose class, really going into it. You build a relationship with your Ascension coach, you build a relationship with your gurus and also with the community. Well, through God, through them can love you always perfectly. And so we worked together, I on my control pattern and she on her codependency intros on with her family. In her heart intros, because her parents are already dead, so it's just something she felt within her heart she had to heal through. And I have to say, it's not always fun to work through something like that, but we always felt closer to God and we always felt closer to each other. And the one thing we always do both, even when we are on in our separate corners, we choose to see it through God's eyes and we choose to come closer to God. And this helps us, it gives a real boost, helps us to heal through this very hurt place within ourselves, just claiming to come closer to God and see the whole situation through the perspective of God. And this always saved our life and always will support us through whatever comes our way, and it will always support you. It's this one choice that you do in this moment where you want to give up. You choose, I choose to come closer to God. I choose to see it through the eyes of God. And you will immediately feel a little relief that will help you to do the mirror exercise, or to reach out to a friend, or to reach out to your coach, or to watch another Twin Flame Ascension school class or life purpose class. This is the magic of the Twin Flame journey and learning to have a relationship with God. I experienced.
Well, that was so powerful. I realized that I was still like even in what you shared is so beautiful. I got this yeah, this breakthrough where I always thought that family was my core value. And I'm realizing like I was projecting that's like the codependency. Like I'm actually like God has actually always been a core value of mine. But yeah, it's like, wow. So
That's so beautiful.
that's what I love about being in community because we mirror back to each other. And so I find that it's very challenging to heal and learn on your own because the community will always point you back to the truth, and you're going to know what the truth is based on how you feel. And as you heal, numbness and anywhere that you've learned to suppress your feelings, you get more and more and more clear on what feels good and bad, and so you can just keep healing. Yeah. So love it. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Um, yeah, well, this feels fairly complete to me. Daniel and Carmen, do you have anything else to share? Or Paco?
No, we're complete.
We feel complete.
All right. All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. We continue to encourage you to tithe to the Church of Union at unionism.org so we can continue to share this message with the world and just make an incredible difference in helping people heal their lives. Yeah, into Harmonious Union, it's for you too. I remember Jeff sharing that in Sedona. He said, Harmonious Union is there for you as well. So just remember, you can heal, and just about moving through the blocks to heal into Harmonious Union. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful Sunday. Thanks so much, everyone.